I gotta be honest, this was the most uncomfortable train wreck of an episode I've seen of the show yet. Best episode, if you ask me, and I think definitely cements Komari as the most impressive character, and I think the most emotionally just grips you, makes you sad to see her fail, but then you're like, man, how do you get through? Overall, like, this is exactly what the show has proven it can be. But every step of the way of this dark episode, both quite literally visually, if they kept it dark, it was basically a stormy day the entire damn episode. And emotionally, Komari was not doing well, and I did not see how there was going to be a positive outcome, because there's no way in a couple of days was she going to get good at public speaking and solve this. But the punchline of our boy becoming president and not feeling like he stole something that she wanted, but rather took control of something she didn't want, and showed her that she does have friends, is such a beautiful ending to this episode. But man, watching her suffer throughout this episode, I felt that sensation when, you know, like, you feel like stuff's under your skin, you're so uncomfortable by, like, the cringe and pain. That's this episode's vibe in a nutshell. You know, I have those full live reactions over on Patreon if you want to see a full look at thought to any of these wonderful episodes over there exclusively. So I definitely think Komari is the best character at this point. I still very much enjoy Lemon. I think she is a hoot and a holler. What else can I say? I thought she was going to toss our boy's bitch ass off the balcony. She came in there thinking that he was bullying Komari, and honestly, that was a high enough fall. He would have died. That awkward moment when they have a heart-to-heart in the group chat, not their individual chats. I kind of died from secondhand embarrassment in that moment. But a show that could have easily just made me feel like each of the characters that we solve issues for are love interests. Even though I definitely think you can make arguments on why any three of them could be a love interest for him, I love the fact that that's not really my main focal point, and I don't look at them as that's what they became. Rather, they all actually became individual people. Komari's an interesting character because for her, the whole idea stems from she feels like she's being left behind. And now the place that she felt like she finally belonged to, you know, and belonged in, it's now on her shoulder. She has to keep it going. Everyone else is leaving her. And it's easy for an outsider to say, well, I mean, she clearly has friends. Look at these three. But from her point of view, it's painful. She has to do it. And the idea of someone coming in saying, you can't do this, you can't give the report, you're not talented enough to do it, give it to me. She doesn't believe these are all connections that are going to last, and if she can't do it, everything will fail. And this is the place that makes her feel like she belongs. And even though, like, as our boy says, like, this is a mishap that in a couple of days, none of the other club members are going to realize that, but for her, it's going to be forever. She just fumbled giving the report so bad that they just skipped over her. And him taking control and her, you know, lashing out, throwing the water and storming off, him taking the role of president in this moment so that the report can be given. It's on one hand something that you feel is like, okay, you understand why that would feel cruel from her point of view, because it's like, you're not good enough. But from his point of view, it's more of like, we can't have this fumble, and, you know, it doesn't mean she can't do it in the future or something. But I love the idea of her truly being honest here about how this is all scary. It says everyone keeps up and leaving, she's left behind, and he gets through being like, you're not alone. Like, there's a very mature message to this episode, which it hurts to hear in some ways, but it's true. A lot of the connections we have in our lives are temporary, and it's scary to think about because usually if you don't have a current connection, like with a friend or a loved one or whatever, and you don't hope that's a long-term connection that lasts for life, then that's probably not someone you should be around. But at the same time, realistically, a lot of them do come to an end. Once they graduate their school, they might not ever keep up with each other. Once they get to college, those friends that they make there might not last forever. When you have a workplace, you have these great acquaintances, but once you switch jobs, are you really going to keep up with them? Very few people will truly stick in your life forever, and you hope that this is a cast that are going to be a bond, you know, strong as hell. But just because things might be temporary doesn't mean that they were pointless, and all those connections can still matter. And I love the idea for him to say, I'm not leaving, I'm not going anywhere. For her, it's exactly what she needs to hear. And from his point of view internally, you know, he sees it as like, even if stuff may not last forever, You know, the idea that it's still an important chapter of our lives, because a book doesn't just magically fill out. It's all chapters, and different chapters will have different things. And of course, it's important to try to make those chapters last as long as possible, but just because sometimes chapters come to an end doesn't mean it was all for nothing. And it's just such a mature way to handle that entire drama, and I love that it's the perfect way to resolve this issue. She never actually wanted to do the speaking. She never wanted to be the president. She wants to be a part of the literature club. Our boy being president makes way more sense, and he's got the chops for it. Natural progression, and doesn't feel like he's taking control away from a girl who can't do it. It's like, it's a girl who didn't want to do it. And yeah, public speaking, that's probably a year away from her, not 2 days, and, you know, we clearly need someone who can do that. It just brings the characters together in such a way that you just leave satisfying. But it's no joke, this was an uncomfortable episode. I just felt, the whole time I'm like, man, this is just dark. It feels like everything's crashing and burning. I thought we were on a nice trajectory, and now it feels like it's all going up in smoke. Watching a character who is as sweet and innocent as Komari clearly is, just crash and burn. It's like, this isn't even Truck Kun anymore. This is Train Kun. Train keeps running her bitch ass over and reversing and going again and reversing and going again. And I'm asking, please, for the love of God, there's no body left. Stop doing this. And it kept happening. But somehow, like Jesus Christ, she rose. And she came out of this victorious. But to get to that was a very uncomfortable episode. But I love the fact that this show is not afraid to be uncomfortable. It's not afraid to throw characters in uncomfortable situations and make us say, for the love of God, the secondhand embarrassment, the secondhand cringe, leave them alone. But beautiful. I didn't think we would see as much development for the Central 4 as we did in 11 episodes, but seriously, this show proved me and many people wrong. I assume the last episode is going to be more of an epilogue, having everyone kind of come together, maybe see where the club's going to go now that it's all kind of situated. But would I say I have anything I'd really change about this season? Not really. Like, this is pretty much as close to perfect as you could ask for. Production had movie level quality at multiple points, and even when it was at what it considered average, it was better than most school series when they're at their best. Fantastically produced, wonderful characters, funny, but the drama just felt so human, and because of that, it felt extra painful in those painful moments. Let me know what you thought down below. Who's your current favorite character? I think I gotta bump it up to Komari for me, which I like Lemon a lot, but Kamari's definitely #1 for me. Thoughts down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're around. Of course, we got that bell. And like I mentioned, full live reactions over on Patreon. And hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. Alright, so today we got Audiosium, Ert Swanson, Ike Ickley, Jen Peterson, Hune, Roscoe, Zeekster, Refac972, and we also have Michael Latham. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care. Y'all have a good one.